Let's give them something to talk about. I see the energy running out. I got a planet to run around. Okay. You ain't do nothing but run your mouth. No, I don't want to be humble now. You doubted me, nothing to talk about.
Can you turn down the brightness on that?
Yeah,
one?
I was just actually going to go move it real quick.
I feel like I'm getting a suntan. We have such sophisticated lighting. Yeah, that's better. Thank you. Perfect. We got the sound down, though. I think everything worked on the sound. That's good.
I had it in the my camera throws off focus.
Oh, we got this sideways. Well, I can't tilt it. That's all right.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. But we can talk about a whole ton of stuff, and particularly 23.2. We can talk about. I wanted to talk about 23.2 just from an affiliate's perspective because I was bitching about it the week before.
I think we could talk about the open so far from
we can do
affiliates.
We can do that too. Yeah, I do want to talk about that.
Yeah,
and then maybe it would be fun to do a little bit of a guesswork on 23.3.
I've got some ideas.
And then and CrossFit quietly launched kind of in the beta version of getting started online. Dave Castro put it in his weekly review and then put it on his Instagram, which was cool, and gave people a free code to go in and give it a shot. And it's an at-home version of CrossFit.
So CrossFit hasn't put it out there for the general public yet?
No.
Okay.
I don't believe it. You can find it, but you
have to look for it.
You'd have to look for it. Well, I mean, you really don't have to look that hard. But you can find it on go to Dave Castro's Instagram, and he'll give it to you. And we can put it up too.
I was going to pull it up on the CrossFit.
Yeah, will you? Getting started with CrossFit, but before we do that though, let's go into let's talk about the open. I did have something I wanted to show, so let me just show that real quick.
Do you want to share it with me? And then
no.
Oh, you got something to show. Okay. So he's going through. Oh, the stack.
Yeah,
we talked about it a little bit last week as far as how much.
We're not good at dead air, by the way. We don't like you got to remember, Jamie, that there are people that are driving and listening and they don't see what we're doing. So if it goes dead, they're trying to punch fucking buttons. What happened? My phone, that's what I do when there's dead air. We're not the Rogan podcast where you can cut.
Or even the Savan podcast where they have like a commercial.
Yeah, they have a commercial now. But this is just to give you an idea.
I want to mitigate.
This Travis. Is all of the score sheets so far, because there'll be more for 23.
I've already seen a few of them repeat this morning.
23.2. Yeah, I came in on.
That's fucking stacked.
Well, first of all, I got up on Saturday morning after we had a huge Friday Night Lights.
Yes,
which I was really impressed because I didn't think 23.2's Friday Night Lights was going to be as big as 23.1, and it certainly was.
Yeah,
if not bigger. So people got a little FOMO. They saw what was going on and decided to come. So we had more people. We had friends and family come in.
Yeah, it was a lot of new faces.
Right.
New faces and like you said, friends and family. I saw Jackson's dad was here.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
But we have this huge stack. We had a huge stack last week. As an affiliate owner, I go through these. Well, let me tell you this. But Yvonne, who's more detail oriented, goes through them one by one, and she looks at them for scoring discrepancies. Because what happens is people, most of the judges do a really good job of like checking off the completed portions, and then they put the number in that they completed in the next round, like the partial number. They'll write it in the box.
Yeah.
But what they're not good at, or they're not great at, is doing the total score calculation.
Yeah.
And admittedly, I've done, when I scored Pym last week,
did you mess it
he
up?
goes, how did you even get to that number? You wrote down the right number of reps. He goes, but my total's like off by, he goes, and I go, I don't know how I got there. I just, because, and so then we go through and we correct those. And then we notify people. Yvonne's good about, she emails or posts in our Facebook group, our member Facebook group. But that takes her about I think about 2 hours of work going through that. And then I'll bring it. Then I got to go online and I have to validate it. And I validate it by pulling up the CrossFit Games website, going in as an affiliate, and then it shows each person's score. And it's a large rectangular box. And on a computer monitor, you can see maybe 6 scores.
Really?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah. I can maybe see 6, maybe 6. If I could pull it up and I could show it to you. It's interesting to see because I'm not complaining.
It gives everybody a perspective that it's not just a simple like click, click, click.
Yeah, no. And I am here a couple people like I went through and if I know I was there and I saw their score and I saw what they submitted, it makes it easy because I don't have to really double check their scorecard. But there's a lot of people that go that we don't. So you want to match the scorecard to the score. Yeah. And I'm getting help. Shelby's going to come in and help today with the validations. Nice. We wait until Monday to start validating.
To start validating. So you don't do any over the weekend.
Because there's redos. Like you validate and then someone redoes it. It's like, okay. So it's like double your work. So I try to get as many of the redos done. And this week, maybe we can talk about this while I load this up, is there was a ton of redos. And what was interesting, there was way more redos than the first week.
I think so.
Way more.
They want more weight on that thruster.
Right. That's right. People wanted more weight on the thruster, but also there's people that wanted, here's what happens. They do it. And then someone else that they compete with in class that they normally kick their ass and they got their ass kicked. I'm like, oh, well, I can come back. I can beat that.
Get an extra couple reps.
And literally almost, and what I've seen so far is that 100% of redos are better. And that's not always the case. The week before, like I knew a couple people that redid it and they got either the same score, they didn't do as good.
Yeah. Or like a worst tiebreaker or whatever.
Yeah. Or worst tiebreaker, that kind of thing, right? They're playing with the tiebreaker. But for 23.2, every person I talked to that I saw do it did better. Some substantially. Kerry Hummel.
He said, I remember he said
he was frustrated because he didn't get the weight he wanted in the thruster. And he improved by like 15, 20 pounds on the thruster. He already had a decent score. He was into the 130s. Okay. On the 23.2A on the shuttles. And he added like another 6 or 7 reps.
Okay. So that's good. So that's an overall PR.
Yeah. And that comes from, and this is what we can talk about. He said to me, he goes, I'm an electrician. And Friday Night Lights, I come in, I've worked all day. I've been on my feet. I'm tired. So this guy learned about CNS fatigue and accumulated fatigue.
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing. And then he comes in, he goes on I rested Saturday and came in Sunday and did it. And he smashed it. And so, I guess it's something to think about if you're truly interested in competing, maybe even competing, making it to the quarterfinals, especially
moving on to the next rounds,
thinking about when you saw a lot of athletes repeat it, if someone did it on Friday, for example, when would you advise what would you advise that they do in between the repeat? When would you advise that they repeat and what would you advise that they would do between the repeat?
Is your question somebody that did it on Friday and wasn't happy with their score and they want to repeat it, or were they already planning to do it twice in the first place?
No, there's very few people that plan to do it. Very few. There's a couple.
Hard to believe.
No. A couple of elite athletes, certainly.
Yeah.
Right. Alessandra used to do that. She did it on Thursday, and then she knew she was going to redo it.
That's why I asked.
Okay, that's 5 people.
Okay.
So everybody else, like me, never wants to do another.
Yeah, you do it once. You're like, I can do better than that. Yeah. I would honestly say, like, the next day, don't do anything. Obviously, you want to have like kind of a recovery period. But I would almost do the next day as like more working antagonistic muscle groups, right? So if you're doing a lot of pushing, then start working in some pulling. Maybe do it more monostructural base just to kind of get the wind going, get the blood flowing. The more blood circulation we can get going, the more it's going to help flush out that byproduct and not be as sore. Right. So the goal is when you're doing a repeat or something like that, your goal should be to prepare your body and recover from the first go at it so you can go into the next one fresh and snappy. Right. So ultimately, I would say if you did it on Friday, personally, I would wait till Monday. Right. You get a full do training session afterwards, working on those antagonistic muscles and just, something different, work different patterns so that there's a balance there, focusing on blood flow, obviously, and then take that day off. So then when you come in on Monday, so like you go Friday for the open and go. Saturday is an active recovery session. Sunday is a rest day where you're fueling up, eating good, hydrating, all that stuff. Monday, go time. And when you go in on Monday, it should be it's all mapped out. Like, this is my warm up. I've already been through what would I have done? What would I do different the second time around? Right. Like you said, Kerry coming in after working all day on his feet, physical job.
Right.
Obviously, he's going to come in on a day that he's fresh and not do that again.
Right.
Right. So I think that's one of those things. Like, if you have a strategy on repeating, you want to really kind of look at that 4-day period, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
Yeah. Just kind of maximize your time to recover.
I think most people too that did it also improved their thruster. And there's something to be said too for the confidence factor.
Yeah.
So now you know how it's going to feel.
Exactly.
And then now, since you know how it's going to feel, it's, you can know where you can push or not push. Sam Mendes redid it. Sam Mendes is one of our RX Plus athletes. He's in the 35 to 39-year-old age group, and is very good. He's always a good open athlete, and he's a good sport because he comes in and does it on Friday Night Lights. And he did what I thought was he put up a great score.
Yeah.
On his first go around.
Yeah.
And hit a great thruster weight.
Solid thruster too, super clean.
And here's one thing that I thought was interesting is he got off of 23.2A and was went and picked up his own bar to put it out on the floor because the bar handlers didn't get out there fast enough, and did a quick thruster himself, like literally while people were moving around. He's like, "Get out of my way!"
Yeah.
And people had to move out of his way so he could do one right away. Like, he went from.
Yeah, he built like a 135, 85.
Yeah.
And then 225, and then went
240, I think.
I think he ended at a 245.
Yeah.
Or
240.
240. Okay.
He came back the next day or 2 days later and redid it.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to me, the reason, I said, "Why, dude, you put up a great score. There was a hell of a performance." He said, "Well, based upon the fact that he was able to go right from his ending shuttle run that he was on
into that,
and walk over and pick up the barbell, he felt like I left something on the table."
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I think like as an athlete, and if you're training to be competitive, if you're not filming yourself now, when I say filming yourself, I'm talking about filming yourself for feedback. I'm not talking about filming for video validation, right? So when you're not submitting your score, if you're doing it in an affiliate, you're filming yourself. So you have proof that you have the capacity, but also if you are to redo it, you can review the video and see where your rest periods were. Right. Mid-workout, you might realize, okay, I'm going to grab some chalk, but maybe that was a 15, 20-second rest period that you don't realize.
Yeah.
Or how many times you step back away from the bar. Like, what I used to do was I would sit there and rewatch my videos with a stopwatch and just click the go, like time how much time in between movements that I was actually resting. Right. So then, oh, wow, I waited around, and then a minute and a half during a 15-minute workout, I can make up that time, right? I can get a couple extra reps. So,
well, it's cool to see from an affiliate owner's perspective. It's a big pain in the ass. Dude, I got up on Saturday morning, but it's a cool pain in the ass. Like, it's one of those ones like, oh Christ.
Yeah.
They're like, I got up on Saturday morning, and I open my social media while I'm having my coffee, and I'm seeing video from 7 a.m. in the morning, a large group of people in the open gym area. 7 a.m. on Saturday morning, like a large. I'm looking, well, what? So on Saturday morning,
they're not doing repeats,
and
right?
the class is already full, the CrossFit class.
Yeah.
And then, these were a lot of first times.
Okay. That weren't able to make it in on Friday Night Lights. Okay.
Then I come in on Sunday, and Sunday it started, apparently, Yvonne told me it started at 7 a.m. again on Sunday. And I came in to do the workout at noon.
Yeah.
And the gym was packed. The open gym was packed, and the main gym was already kind of full with people redoing. And the energy was so high. But I wanted a nice quiet gym to get warmed up, get in my own game. Like I have a hard time with all the energy, enthusiasm while I'm trying to warm up and get my mind right for doing the workout.
I think that the hard part
smokes.
from a coaching standpoint, and you know, yourself as an affiliate owner, like you come in, you want to focus on yourself, and everyone wants to talk.
Yeah, they do. They
And
want to talk.
Like,
and well, here's the other thing is I get pumped up, like, and I start yelling at people. I kind of get sucked into the.
You're expending your adrenaline before you even started your first rep.
And the first person I see doing it, I walk in. I came in this way, was Christy doing her thrusters, and Christy Lee and I are good friends from for many years. And I got pumped up, and I'm yelling, I'm screaming. I'm like, what am I doing? It was, but anyway,
slope.
It is a slippery slope, but it was fun and the energy was high. And I think the other reason why people didn't mind redoing it is they just weren't that sore.
Yeah, it wasn't a really sore workout.
I thought it was going to be a sore maker, but you really just don't get enough volume of the jumping pull-ups to create the soreness. And most people figured out how to take out the eccentric.
Yeah, the lowering,
the negative.
aspect,
everybody learned you just let go. So there's like today I'm not sore at all.
The one thing I did hear a lot this morning, because I opened and coached class this morning, was my right butt cheek is really sore.
Oh yeah, because they turned on the same.
Because they're all turning left. They're all turning left, or they're stepping out of the burpee on the same side.
That's funny.
It's like, keep that one in mind for future reference. Balance is everything.
It really is interesting. So let me show I'll show full screen. I can't, when I show this, I can't really talk because I'm only on one screen. Can you see my whole screen?
Yeah, you're still there.
I am, but I just can't see myself, which is fine. So what I'm looking at here is this is a validation screen. So you can see, and I think I have it on.
Try the full screen. Just cut us out of it because it's really small.
What do you have on there? How many do you see?
I see 3.
Yeah, that's all I see, but it's larger.
Got it.
Okay, so it takes up.
That's it. Yes, that's all you can see at one time.
That's all I can see at one time.
Does it have to refilter and reshuffle like when you validate one?
So,
oh my God.
So that's what I see, which is, so then I scroll. So you look, I'm scrolling right now. Right. And so that's okay. Like what's cool is I got all the data there and everything else. And one of the really cool things I like is
feedback for athletes.
Yeah. There's feedback, which is really cool. So when I validate it, they get an email saying it's been validated.
Yeah.
And what I started doing was like when I saw scores that were cool or interesting, or, I'd make a note. Yeah. And so it allowed me to send a message.
That's a really cool feature.
It really is.
That's a really cool
in terms
feature.
of like connecting with your community. It's a really great opportunity to send a nice message.
Yeah.
And I swear I didn't cut and paste the message. However, I will tell you to our own Diablo community, if you get that email, don't share it with your friends.
It's a personal message.
It's a very personal, heartfelt message from me to you. I swear.
Just keep it to yourself.
Okay, how many listeners do we got going right now?
We got 9 right now. We got 9.
No, it is. But I do. It's nice to send out a message. But anyway, I go through it. But so now you think, well, that's not that big a deal. It is sorted. No, it's not sorted alphabetically. It's sorted just by when they enter their scores.
And this is just one score.
Yes,
this is 23.2A, and then you got to do the whole thing for B.
No. What's cool is they're letting you do, even though it's on here, I can look at it separately. If I validate it, it validates both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what we originally thought. That I got a couple of affiliate owners reached out to me. They're like, "Are you kidding? We have to do." No, you don't. You can do both. You click validate and validates both.
Okay.
But so if you're doing a true job of validation, you're validating this the stack of sheets against this.
Yeah.
And that takes a while.
Yeah.
And the larger the affiliate, it's one of those good problems. You want to have 150 people do the open in your gym. This is what it's going to take. I'm okay with this. I don't, it's a tech guy might be able to come in and say, hey, here's how we can do this better. It would be the only thing I would say my idea would be is have the ability to sort these alphabetically.
Yeah.
Again, like that,
because then you can set the score sheets alphabetically, and then you can just run through the whole thing.
If up here in unvalidated scores, if there's a little checkbox that says alphabetically by first name, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah,
because then I could sort these alphabetically.
Yeah,
And then I'd be boom, boom, boom. This process would speed up.
Maybe if somebody's listening from HQ, they can make that adjustment.
I know.
I feel like that happened with the ability to download.
Download
the
CSV files. I bitched about that. We bitched about
we
that.
We literally talked about that on the podcast, and it was like that next week you had that option to download it.
Download your CSV files of your custom leaderboard.
Somebody must be listening.
Huge. Thank you. Whoever did that. I sent a message to Jonathan Haynes.
Okay.
Who is kind of in charge of the CrossFit Games website, I think.
Okay.
Can't tell if his role changed or not because he sent back a message to me, said tech team. That was his message.
So maybe that's what that triggered it.
Yeah, maybe.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. So anyway, so that's that. It's a cumbersome process, but again, it's one of those good problems.
Yeah.
But the last thing on 23.3, only because I'd like to admit it's good to admit when I'm wrong-ish.
Wrong-ish.
Yeah, I'm not completely.
You're not admitting fault.
No, not completely. Not 100%. I believe the shuttle runs would have been better for affiliate owners if it ended at a barbell or a dumbbell. Because a dumbbell, a barbell are movable.
It's not a fixed object.
It's not a fixed object. You made it difficult for affiliates when you make it to a fixed object. But let me just say this before we even get in and talk about it. I love the workout.
Mm-hmm.
The test was awesome.
I agree. There
were different ways to do that pull-up that was, kind of cool. I did them all kipping because it was just easier for me. I struggle with the strict version. And man, it was like, if you look around our gym at the athletes that did well on it, like those are the ones that, are working hard on their endurance, that they're working hard on their strength, their mobility and positioning. Like it was really cool. And even though I bitched at how hard it would be for affiliates, we got through it.
We did.
We got, probably including redos, I probably got 200 people through the workout.
At least.
People figured out what pull-up bar to go to.
Yeah.
They figured out mats to put down to jump to an appropriate height pull-up. And at the end of the day, that probably wasn't the differentiator, the couple of inches difference between one another. But we got like almost 150 people through it on Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
It took a little longer. There were some frustrations, but we got through it. So Adrian, I'm sorry if I bitched about it beforehand. We got through it, and all affiliates got through it, and it was a cool workout.
Yeah. I really like the test. I thought it was really good. It's fairly similar to one of the workouts that we did in our open prep in January.
Yeah.
It was a shuttle run with burpee over line. That was a line burpee.
Yes.
And we did pistols with it. But I like the pull-up as an option.
Yeah, that was Jamie. By the way, that was Jamie kind of taking credit for designing the open workouts and patting himself on the back.
Just I like being close. I like speculating and being in.
No, you've nailed it. Someone said to me, Luis, our adaptive athlete, came to me and said, he goes, dude, Adrian and Jamie Lee and Adrian Bosman think a lot alike. They're in the same kind of. I said, well, yeah, he's,
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I've been in it for
that's right.
My 13th year in the open.
That's right.
As soon as Boz took over, like it made me think back to all of the stupid human tricks that he used to do on Kelly Starrett's at CrossFit San Francisco.
Yeah, see, so that's one thing
who's programming.
I think a lot of people don't realize that Bosman worked and was a coach at CrossFit San Francisco. We were friends with him. We knew him. We watched his stuff that he used to do. I remember him doing a 135 pound pistol,
single arm, like overhead squat, right?
Yeah. Oh, a single arm overhead squat. Like he would do all that stuff.
Yeah.
But they had at CrossFit San Francisco, because we got them because they had them, they had the parallel bars.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's the other thing too, is if you listen to any of the stuff that Boz had, like on any of the other podcasts that he was on, he always referred back to main site.
Yeah.
And like,
that's right.
Just, if you're not following main site and you're trying to be competitive, then you're totally missing the boat.
Yeah.
Like there's so many hints and secrets and it just like things that you can touch on.
Yeah.
Just by looking at it.
Yeah. I hope that what we see this today on main site doesn't show up.
What is today?
L sits.
No, I don't think it'll be L. We won't see an L sit today and then it show up on main site.
Okay.
What was it? 2019.
Well, it could show up show up easily in the qualifiers.
So it
because
could.
you could do timed L sits.
Well, but that wasn't unless they release that's an object that we need to have.
Oh, did they say parallettes? Well,
I haven't seen parallettes on it yet.
Well, but CrossFit so their demo in the CrossFit training demo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's in the CrossFit workout of the day, but it's in the CrossFit training demo that they put out today. It showed hanging L sits and it showed ring L sits, and then parallettes.
So
but you're right. I got an idea. Equipment, so maybe not.
Let me just throw out a little speculation here.
Yeah.
Quarterfinals. We saw last year at the games. Remember the rope climbs that they didn't get to do because of the rain?
Yeah.
Started from a seated position. Starting from an L sit.
Oh yeah, that's right.
L rope climb.
That's
something that we could see in a quarterfinal situation. Yeah. But like when you think of when I say refer to look at the main site programming and see where the hints are. This is just an example. 2019 when we hosted the event here, the Open, looking at all the programming leading up to that weekend, it was like a month or 5 weeks of L sits, squatting variations, and then what do we see that week? Pistol squats.
Right.
So if you think about the shapes and the general archetypes that we see in our movement patterns that we do in class, that stuff translates into other stuff also. So kind of looking at those little hints.
What's your guess for 23.3 then?
I think we're going to see jump rope.
Yeah.
I think we'll see some jump rope. And I mean,
that's good. You need to pull the jump rope people.
Yeah.
You need to pull the people that can't do double unders. You need to get them out.
And honestly, I think that we could see an ascending skill of some sort. Right. So imagine an ascending skill of single unders to double unders to single crossovers to maybe a double under crossover.
I thought maybe it would be wall walks to, handstand pushups to.
I don't think we're going to see handstand pushups. And the reason why I say I don't think.
What about handstand walks?
Handstand. I think we'll see wall walks before we see handstand walks.
Okay.
And the reason why I don't think we'll see handstand pushups, I think we'll see a hand release pushup before we see a handstand pushup.
Oh, God.
Just for the fact that is like a prerequisite to do a handstand pushup, right? If you think about a progression, doing a solid pushup is going to translate over to a handstand pushup. And again, referring back to one of the videos that Boz was in talking about making handstand pushups great again, that was his whole idea with that deficit wall-facing handstand pushup at the games that year. I think we'll see a wall-facing handstand pushup in the quarterfinals, just because here's a chance for us to continue that theme of watching what we saw at the games trickle down into the online qualifiers. And doing a wall-facing handstand pushup logistically is not a big deal. Yeah. I mean, it's just you need a wall. So another speculation, but that's a quarterfinal. I think for the Open this next week, we're going to see some kind of a double under. We haven't seen any real snatches, so maybe some lightweight snatches, maybe ascending snatches.
We got box jumps. Someone suggested
box jumps. Yeah, we could see box. Some kind of plyometric. We'll see some kind of jumping, whether it be on the rope or a box. We got handstand push-ups there. Yeah, I don't think we'll see a handstand push-up just because, like I said, that the idea of Boz talking about making handstand push-ups great again, I don't think he's going to take it back to what we used to see, where we would rip out like 20 handstand push-ups in a row with a kip. It's just it's not a really good test of strength, right? And when they talk about testing strength, Boz talked about it a lot in the last year, was testing strength doesn't always mean you're testing with a barbell, right? Like a press to handstand, that takes fucking strength.
Right.
A wall facing handstand pushup. I mean, you can ask somebody that can do 20 kipping handstand pushups, but you put them up against a wall, can they do one? Just because it's a real test of strength in certain range of motion and patterns. So I don't, like I said, it's just me speculating. I don't think we'll see a kipping handstand pushup this year or next year.
So maybe for a Facebook user, jump rope, wall walk, deadlift. Or yeah, I could see that.
Jump rope, wall walk. I could see that. Ooh. I could see that. Like the push up out of the wall walk, like that's a progression towards the wall facing handstand push up, right?
Yeah.
That's a possible one. I don't know who that user is.
Yeah, Facebook users, it doesn't look like we can tell who they are. Facebook user, they're anonymous. well,
it shows up on the video on Facebook though.
Yeah, we suspect that they're with the black team.
Why? Because of the black sunglasses.
Yeah, that's what they do. That's their emoji. They got their own freaking emoji.
Is it really? Isn't that just a standard emoji though?
No, that's their emoji. They've acquired that as their emoji, the black team emoji. Yeah, that's probably Harold,
Probably,
or Dean,
one or the other.
Yeah. Anyway, the one thing I wanted to get into, CrossFit. Well, Dave Castro talked about it in his Instagram. I think he posted it last night. I'm not sure, because he does a weekly review on YouTube where he talked about it. He does do that on Sunday nights. And then he posted it to his Instagram. CrossFit has a new program called Get Started with CrossFit.
I got it right here if you want me to pull it up.
Yeah, pull it up, because I'm interested in getting feedback. We'll get our however few users or few viewers watch. We'll give them free access to a $150 program. So this is Getting Started with CrossFit. And basically, this is CrossFit's first attempt at engaging the at-home user and someone that is with a specific lean toward someone that is intimidated by CrossFit, getting them exposure to CrossFit so that they can be confident enough to come into a gym. And I like this. I personally like this a lot.
Yeah.
We can watch. I want to watch this video here in a second, but don't start it yet.
Yeah.
But just to give you my insight on it, we do get a lot of people who tell us that they wanted to start CrossFit, but they felt like they had to get in shape to start CrossFit.
Yeah.
We have people that come and then they do a tour and then they leave and they come back 6 months later because they wanted to go somewhere or work out in their garage to get in shape because they feel so intimidated. You walk in, it doesn't matter what class you walk in, it doesn't matter what body type you see in there. What you see are confident people moving barbells very well, barbells, kettlebells, dumbbells, doing plyometrics, doing gymnastic stuff. Even if it's scaled with a band, everybody knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that's an intimidating environment to walk in. You know, I took my daughter she's doing sewing class. She's got a really, really nice sewing machine. We got her for Christmas. She wants to learn. She wants to do more sewing.
That's cool.
Very cool. But you walk into the workshop and these even
it's overwhelming.
It was overwhelming because you walk in and everybody looks like they know what they're doing. Now in their heads, they're all going, fuck. You know, I got to make sure I don't screw this up because I'm in a workshop with a bunch of people.
But they know what the tools are.
Well, they know what the tools are. That's right. That's well said. That's right. And so this CrossFit is basically helping bridge that gap.
Yeah.
Someone may not have an affiliate near them. It's also a great idea. Someone that wants to just get a feel for it. And I think very importantly is that CrossFit needs to have an at-home product because there's a ton of at-home products that are similar. We don't have to name names. We know who they are, that offer CrossFit training at home with the emphasis on stay at home and never go anywhere and do it anywhere else. CrossFit's taking the approach of this is a gateway drug to an affiliate where the real magic happens.
Yeah.
Let's show the video that's up there because it's really well done. And it's Chuck Carr as well. It was
Hey
level
team,
4.
welcome back. It's so good to see you. We have a fantastic workout plan for you today. Let's get you warmed up. Start with a nice wide grip on the PVC. She's going to keep her arms straight, shrug up, and take the PVC over the top of her head and touch her lower back.
We have 2 movements in your workout today. We're going to tackle that dumbbell push press first, show you what the movement looks like, and then we're going to break it down so we can work on little pieces. Now I'm going to have you guys do it at home.
Let's talk about the workout. 30, 20, 10, dumbbell push presses and lunges. Remember, you have to move through all of the dumbbell push presses before moving on to the lunges. You'll do that for 20 and 20, and then finally 10 and 10. You can do this. 3, 2, 1, go. Are you ready at home?
I love the fact that they've got, I'm curious how that's going to go going forward, but having flow masters on there.
Yeah.
You think about trying to share what CrossFit is in a nutshell, as far as like getting somebody a little taste of it in this kind of environment.
Yeah.
Having a flow master there to kind of elaborate into the depth of what CrossFit is a really cool option.
So this is a 150. Go back to the website, please. To the original website and scroll down a little bit. That's So it's 100. How much is it?
150. 12 sessions for 150.
Yeah, so it's 12 sessions for $150.
And it includes 12 on-demand sessions, so they're pre-recorded.
So,
No fitness equipment necessary. Hours of additional content. Healthy recipes and nutrition advice. Introduction session with a coach near you. Oh, so they're even tying you into a coach nearby.
yeah. So
That's really cool.
Which is really cool. And so I put the code in there if anybody wants to use the code and they want to go through it and test it. And then if you do, DM Dave Castro, the Dave Castro, or make comments in his YouTube, give him feedback on it. The code is get started, all lowercase and no spaces, just get started. Nice. And you can get access to that $150 program for free, and maybe give it to a family member or someone and see if they can get through the 12 sessions.
Yeah.
It would be good to get some tests going on this. You're right. And the ultimate idea here is get them started at home and get them into a community.
Yeah.
And CrossFit respects the community. And this is in response to, and affiliate owners go, well, I can't believe they're doing an at-home program.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, but everybody else is doing an at-home program and they don't want them ever going to your affiliate.
Yeah. This is like leaving the breadcrumbs to your gym.
That's right. Well said. Yeah. I think that may have been a quote that Dave Castro used too.
Did he?
Yeah, maybe. I did. In his,
I mean, that's what it is.
It is. And because once they get into the community, and affiliate owners know this, once you get them in for a few weeks of regular classes, they start to build relationships, and then they're coming because, well, transformations are happening physically. They feel them. Mentally they feel them. But also then they're developing relationships. It makes it kind of a fun place to be.
Yeah.
150, 180 people aren't coming to our Friday Night Lights because they love the workout.
No, they don't even know what the workout is half the time, and they're excited about it before they even know what it is.
Right. They're coming because they want to hang out with their friends. They're going to do something hard in front of their friends, and they know how they're going to feel afterwards. And that's a cool thing. And so this is a gateway drug to get them going with that. So I'm kind of excited. What is your great one did I guess? Oh,
Chrissy's listening.
Hey, thank you. So it's a cool gateway drug. And a great way to get people into the affiliates. The other thing I wanted to talk about, and I talked about this in my email because it does transition nicely from what we're doing, is how CrossFit is curing chronic disease. And then more importantly is how CrossFit is curing improving mental health. I want to say, not necessarily curing. It's not doing, I don't think it's doing that. I think what it's doing is creating a really healthy environment that would offset traditional mental health issues or help alleviate or lighten. For the 23.2 demo, there were two athletes that were there from CrossFit Bison.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and I didn't know of their backgrounds before I just thought, oh, that's cool. I like that they do a couple of members first, right? Because then you can get a sense for how it's really going to go for you.
It's like that. It's like
versus watching Roman Krenikov go with Pat Vellner and just going, oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to do that.
It's like having an average person swim next to the Olympics in the Olympics.
Right. Kathleen Staunton was one. She's a nurse, and she was diagnosed with breast cancer the night before the Open last year. I didn't know that. And she's out there. She was killing it. She was doing really well. It was really, really
that's
fascinating.
A cool story.
It's a really cool story. And if you want, you can go to the CrossFit main site, and it's under Facing Cancer and Depression with CrossFit. So she was one. The other athlete was Joel Trelia. I'm sorry. He's a New Jersey state trooper. And he was suffering from depression, anxiety, and then untreated post-traumatic stress syndrome. And he finally admitted himself into a facility after confiding with a friend that he was considering suicide. And he talked about it as well. And his quote is it gives you chills. He says, CrossFit, and he was doing the workout. And again, I had no idea. I saw this after. CrossFit allows me to clear the cobwebs out of my head when it starts to get dark It allows me to come in, work hard, suffer a little bit, and realize that it'll pass. There are going to be dark days, but that storm passes. And he uses CrossFit, as his tool to help manage his mental health. And again, you come here, and there's a lot of people that said it throughout the pandemic when they were coming in. They're doing it for their mental health, and we know it more and more.
It's like this is their antidepressant,
right? And we talked. In my email I shared this picture. Maybe I can pull it up. Yeah, we'll pull it up. So I'll see if I can. If you guys can see this, give me a second. Pull it. I have to separate it out. It's kind of funky how I have to.
So it's easier if you got a second.
Yeah, if you have a second screen. But let me just pull this up because I think it's worth putting up. Where is our podcast? And then I go to share, and it's called U.S. Deaths of Despair. U.S. Deaths of Despair, and it's a startling. Let's see. Sure. No, I don't want to share an extra camera. I screwed up. My problem.
I can pull it up.
Yeah. Will you do that?
Yeah, I can find it.
Pull it up on PRsAllDay MD is the Instagram.
Do you want me to pull it off of the email, or do you want me to go
email or Instagram? Doesn't matter. Your email might be easier, but it's U.S. deaths of despair. In 2019, we had basically in this country we had 157,000 people died. Suicide, drug overdose, and alcohol-related deaths of despair. And drug overdose being the highest number, 70,000. Suicide, 47,000. And then 39,000 alcohol-related. 157,000 in 2019, which is tragic in and of itself. In 2021, that number is 206,000. That's a 30% increase over 2 years. 206,000. Do you have it?
Yeah, but it's not coming up on the right window. It's weird. Here it is.
Got it? Yeah, look at that number. If you can zoom in, that'd be even better.
Let's see if I can do that.
You'd have to do it up there in the up in the upper right.
Here, I'll just go to the Instagram because you said it's PRsAllDay's.
Yeah, you're actually on the Instagram.
I'm on. No, I'm not logged in now, so I can't. Yeah,
that's fine.
Oh, there we go. Is that showing up?
Yeah, that's showing up.
There we go.
Yeah. So you see the numbers there, and the 2022 numbers are not in yet, and those are expected to be much higher. This is escalating quickly. Yeah, all kinds of reasons. Social media, lack of purpose,
pandemic.
2 years indoors. The closing of churches, like church attendance is down year over year by 20 to 25%. And, there's lots of reasons why I talk to people that go to church regularly, and then churches haven't really evolved with the times, and there's in California especially, they're trying to maintain very conservative values, and for some people that's okay, but for a lot of people it's not. And it's and they're slow to change, slow to evolve with their communities. And so attendance is dropping. Churches are closing. If you Google it, you'll see it's like, it's a large number of churches are closing every year. So that community outlet's gone. Places that people ordinarily go to hang out with their friends and do stuff with their friends is gone. And you start thinking about it, think about the places that you go to and hang out with friends. Mm-hmm. And you start, there's kids events, right? There's, if you have kids, there's for us, we'd go swim team, right? Baseball team, those things hang out. It was fun. Mm-hmm. That's where we did it. And that's where we got our community exposure. As your kids get older, though, those events start to become fewer and far between. And then pretty soon it's just dropping the kids off and letting them go. Yeah. And it's more competitive. So therefore there's less kind of engagement with the other parents.
Yeah. Less community building.
If you don't have kids or the kids are out of the house, like there's not much else.
Yeah.
CrossFit is, you start to think about it like, holy crap, like CrossFit's one of the last few places where people come together regularly and share a common bond, common goal.
Yeah.
It's quite fascinating.
Yeah, that really is.
And offers a place where people can communicate, but then maybe build relationships where they can talk about the things that are ailing them, and then also get bombarded with positivity, health, fitness, love, support. Like there's no better place. We have essentially become a church in a sense. And
hence the cult method, right? Or the cult idea.
Yeah, the cult idea. And then someone at the Harvard Divinity School commented on that when Greg Glassman spoke at the Harvard Divinity School about it. And someone in the audience had a very good question about CrossFit being, a cult. And he said, well, yeah, it is like a cult, except that we don't stop you from leaving. We don't care if you leave,
and we'll make you better.
Right. We'll make you better. But we don't care. Like if you leave, okay, we can't care. We can't care about you. Like, there's nothing holding you there.
Yeah.
And that is the difference.
Yeah.
But it is kind of cult. Like everybody gets in, they get passionate. And the reason why that happens, I think, is because the endorphins are going, serotonin is going, you feel good, you leave CrossFit, you feel good. It's been all positive. Boom, boom, boom. Except when you complain about the open workout. But then it's shared negativity.
Yeah, but then exactly. Then it just turns into a conversation starter.
Right.
Those fucking shuttle runs.
And it's fun to do that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And there's a certain amount of camaraderie happening with all of this.
It's really remarkable. And so I think, I sent that post, that Peter Attia post, to Don Fall, the CEO. Yeah. And I don't always expect a response, but I said, we've got work to do.
Yeah.
That was all my message was. And he messaged me back right away. And he said, absolutely. That's one of the things that we need to, that we provide. We don't need to talk about it. We don't even need to say we do it.
Yeah.
We just do what we do best.
I think it was great that he did comment on the fact that, we have a way to help cure and reverse some of these chronic illnesses and help with these, mental, disorders or mental health stuff in that affiliate gathering. Like,
yes,
we're working towards it.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are charitable events for people that are, suffering from PTSD. People have taken their lives especially veterans have taken their lives as a result of their experiences in the military. But I just want to talk to you just for a real quick second on this community thing, because this is a kind of a pet peeve of mine. You'll see community being thrown around, the word community being thrown around within the fitness industry.
Yep.
We have an awesome community. We have community. Even Peloton uses it. The Peloton community.
It's not community. It's remote.
The word is so freaking overused. It's annoying.
It's like functional training.
Well, and it's because I think part of it comes from the fact that people talk about the CrossFit community so much within the fitness world that other methodologies want to use that word community to draw people in. And I think it's very important to understand that CrossFit was never built on the community. The community happens as a result of what we do.
Exactly.
Greg Glassman didn't set out to build a community.
Yeah.
We started affiliates. He wasn't thinking community. He was thinking more efficient ways to get the methodology out to more people.
Yep.
Nicole Carroll said it best in the Magic of CrossFit article. I'm going to read this. She said, we never set out to create a community, just like we didn't devise our values or methods in a boardroom. That fierce sense of community and loyalty developed naturally. They show up, they put in the work, and the community, the human spark, keeps them coming back. In time, that community becomes something more than just a bunch of good people sweating it out together. It becomes a lifeline. And I know a number of people.
Lifeline.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the real thing right there.
That's the part that I think, and I've had many members tell me this, that it's that, the first person to reach out to, when they want to go out, when they want to do something, when they want to talk about something, the first person that calls usually another person from Diablo.
Yep.
And that's why I have tremendous hope for the future of CrossFit in terms of doing good, but in terms of growth, because there's, as you see the numbers that we put up in that graph, It's not going away. It's going to get worse.
Yeah.
It's going to get worse year over year over year until the country decides to do something about it. But in the meantime, CrossFit is the lifeboat.
It's the beacon.
It's the lifeboat in a sea of, chronic disease and mental health issues.
Yeah.
And it's awesome to be a part of it. I'm super stoked that, that we're here doing it, and I want to spread the word. I want to make sure all CrossFit affiliates thrive and survive and are able to continue to do it themselves. Cool. What else anything else you wanted to touch on this week?
No, not necessarily.
We got, I do want to touch on this. We have our final Friday Night Lights. So if you're listening, final Friday Night Lights is this Friday. It's going to be off the hook.
Yeah.
There's
Tell me it's not raining.
No, Yvonne said it's supposed to be raining like literally another 8 days straight. Well, starting on I think it starts Saturday though, not Friday. She said Friday's a clear day, but it starts this coming Saturday to the next Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like another 7 to 8 days of rain.
Damn.
Which we had years of drought, so we should be really appreciative.
Yeah,
it's nice, but I'm just sick.
I was just referring to like having a rainy day on the final Friday Night Lights because there's going to be so many people in here.
Many people. There will be.
Are we doing a food truck?
No, we're not going to do a food truck.
Okay.
We're having food brought in.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
We're having it catered, and so come. Of course, the teams will have their food tables that they got put out. It's going to be a lot of fun. And the theme, of course, that the teams have come up with is celebration. So dress in your best celebration outfit.
Oh boy,
I don't even know.
Interesting.
I don't even know what that means.
That just means there's going to be a lot of repeats because people are going to be wearing God knows what.
Oh yeah.
My dress got in the way and I had to repeat it.
So at Diablo, we're gonna have food. We'll have drink. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we encourage everybody to come. If you're not doing the Friday Night Lights, or if you're not doing the open, come anyway. Come hang out with us. We'll have everything set up so that we can accommodate lots of people.
Yeah,
and it'll be loud and raucous. And the teens go at what time? We put the teens on at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
So come cheer for the teen athletes. It's our third workout.
Yeah.
And then cheer for it's fun to cheer for our
RX
RX Plus. It's just fun to
Yeah.
watch the epitome of human performance right there.
It really is.
So come watch that. And that's it. I think nothing else for this week.
Yeah, that's it.
Reasonable amount of time.
Yeah.
If you're listening, thank you for listening. We enjoy doing these. We get pretty decent feedback.
Yeah.
If you
loving the comments too.
Yeah. If you have anything that you think we can improve upon or something we're not doing right, send an email to michael@diablocrossfit.com. Jamie's laughing. He knows that inside joke. At Diablo, we used to, I think Christy knows too. There's a nice long note. No,
there's a long one.
Yeah. So, but anyway, when we used to send solicitors, like, who can I talk to? And at Diablo is, hey, who's in charge? And we'd send them to Michael. Send an email to Michael at Diablo, and there was nobody. There was no email. We had no Michael here. We had an email though for Michael, but it was just sat in an email box.
It's like having a suggestion box.
That's
Here,
right.
you can get it out of your system.
Right. What's it? Okay, so I posted this without.
Do you want to read it out?
Yeah, one community, I've done a fair amount of reading. Yeah, again, so there's people that aren't watching the video. Then they're like, "What are they doing?" Well, because we're reading the comment that came in. One on the community thing. I've done a fair amount of reading on the psychology of adult male loneliness, and there's a great and universal point about how men, at least, make friends. It requires that you run into the same people often, but irregularly. The psychology of it is apparently that if you run into the same people, but when each of you and they are in a range of emotions, that one has to necessarily adjust your own behavior to relate to the other person. This is why folks make, it says it's probably,
I think the post might be too long.
This is why folks make, I'm not sure what the rest of that comment is because I'm sorry if whoever's get left, the rest of it didn't come up, but I think that's true about men, is that we run into the same people often and we start to we find commonality, a common bond, and then and then finally make connection. It takes a while. We're not as outward bound about making friends.
Yeah. You're not besties right away.
No, you're not. It takes a while. And then after a while, you're like, hey, and we won't say, hey, you want to go do something? Like, it's just, guys just don't do that, but we will connect at the same time in the same place. Hey, you come tomorrow? Yeah. What time you coming? Like, eventually it'll kind of build. But I will tell you, because I talked to someone about it, about this particular topic this weekend, with respect to, we were talking about despair, and suicide is extremely high among middle-aged men. Suicide rates are much higher for middle-aged men aged like 45 to 55. That's like the danger zone for men, and it's especially prevalent in middle and upper class men. And it's part that there's a number of reasons why, but there is speculation that it's they achieve that age and they look at themselves and go, I'm not where I thought I was going to be. I'm not making what I thought I was going to be making. My kids aren't doing what I thought they would be doing. I haven't done enough for them. And they start to internalize those emotions. They don't talk to anybody about those emotions. And there's a lot of self-blame and self-disappointment. I could be better. I should be better. If you couple that with alcohol or any type of drugs, it makes it worse.
Isolation.
Right. And we don't see, a lot of these things aren't talked about because men don't like to talk about it. I personally went through about 1.5 years of depression, and I didn't want to talk about it. I finally broke down when my doctor asked the right questions, and then he elicited it from me. And it was a really good conversation. I was super glad I did, because it helped snap me out of the funk that I was in for almost a full year. But anyway, what happens is they end up doing things like stepping in front of the Amtrak train over there. And here in the Bay Area, it's very common. They won't put it in the news because they don't want to.
It's happening too often.
Yeah, they don't want to entice people to do it. But it's within the investment community and the venture capital community, and they talk about it. The guys that go to work in the morning, they step in front of their Amtrak train. It's going 80 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is they go up to the Golden Gate Bridge and step off the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah,
just disappear into the void. There's a disc jockey, 94.9, apparently very well known here in the Bay Area, apparently, that's missing, and they suspect that he may have taken his own life. And he's that target age. And if you Google it and you research it, you'll see it. And if there's anybody out there that, if our few listeners that we have that are listening and that are in that situation, could DM me, DM Jamie Lee, or come in, let's talk, or come in, we'll set you up with a membership. We'll get you going. I would say visit a CrossFit gym.
Yeah.
And if it's outside of this podcast, so go visit a CrossFit gym.
Yeah.
Walk in, sit down, and say, hey, I want to do CrossFit.
It will go.
You don't even have to tell them why.
It'll go so far.
Oh my God. It's life-changing. So whoever that made that comment and dragged us back into this conversation, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's a very good point.
Good information there.
Yeah. It's literally CrossFit.
Yeah.
That is
saving lives.
Yeah. CrossFit saving lives. Cool. All right. Let's call it a day.
All right, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Until next week.